The IDF rescues a Bedouin hostage. This is a very interesting situation. And he was taken hostage by Hamas, and he's a Muslim, isn't he? Isn't he?
Yes, he's a
He's got,
Muslim.
he's got 11
But
kids, and he testified witnessing uh, a murder of an older Jew, Zalmanich, they became very good friends in captivity. He was an Israeli, and the Bedouin hostage. He's an Israeli, and he's a proud Israeli, and he's
yes,
for Israel, and it's just incredible. He's a Muslim for Israel. How does that equate to what's going on in the world today?
yeah. I mean, I think the Israel haters don't know what to do with that exactly because they love to accuse us of being an apartheid state,
Exactly.
and this totally destroys that narrative when you have Jews all over the world and particularly in Israel cheering the fact that we rescued a hostage who happened to be a Muslim.
Yeah.
Um, and how did the haters sort of fit that into their narrative? It doesn't make sense because we're supposed to be, of course, an apartheid country that oppresses Arabs. But
They can't
uh,
afford to put that in their narrative. They won't even
yeah,
recognize 10/7 now. When it was reported actually in the
yeah,
beginning by Hamas themselves taking the pictures.
right. And there's a lot of, it's coming up, in a little bit more than a month. And
Yeah.
I already know that there's a lot of Israel haters are planning all kinds of uh, all kinds of things for that day to commemorate Hamas and so on and so forth, which is unbelievable.
Uh,
Imagine, I mean, it's unimaginable. But imagine 9/11 a year later, and people
yeah.
siding with Al Qaeda. I mean, it's just absolute insanity. It's because
It's
it's Jews. We
insanity.
know it.
And it's not just against Israel, it's against the United States of America.
It's
And
against
the
the
and,
West.
and the poison ivies have just started, and they're getting it right now. Cornell University had big riots on opening day of school. Apparently, the Penn State dean or president, she who had left Penn State, quit because of she wouldn't recognize what was going on with the anti-Semitism. Well, now she's been hired by Harvard. Okay, and it's also it's not just them. A lot of the teachers, a lot of the professors
Yeah, of
are in on this. Are in on this
course. Yeah,
Jewish hatred.
yeah.
Anyways,
We had a little bit of a break from that for the summer when the schools weren't in session, but it's coming back now,
yeah,
and I think it's going to be worse than it was.
yeah.
And I don't think the schools are prepared. You know what happened in? I think I mentioned. I don't know if I mentioned on the show in Dubai, in the United Arab Emirates, at a graduation there. There was someone who held up like and supported the Palestinians. And you know what? You know what they did? The country
Oh, he
they
jailed them.
deported them.
Yeah,
They
they
deported them.
deported him in an Arab country.
Yeah, that's all they need to do here.
Wow.
Is the IV say if they said we are
Well,
expelling you and it's going to be on your permanent record,
yeah.
and they can end these if they
They
just
put
get
him throw
rid
him in
of these
jail,
students.
let him out within an hour, no
Yeah,
matter what they did. So
yeah.
Iran's leader Khamenei is willing now to talk to us about nukes, make a deal maybe. While Biden's still there, is Iran ready to make a deal? Maybe I don't know what's going on there, or is this a trick?
Well,
Is it
look,
a stalling game?
I think they are watching very carefully the U.S. elections, and they know if Trump gets in there, they have no chance, and so they want to cut a deal now while Sleepy Joe or Trader Joe is in there, and he is going to, of course, bend over backwards to do something stupid in favor of Iran, and and give them whatever they want. So I think they would be very wise to try to cut a deal with Trader Joe than wait and take their chances and see what happens.
You gotta get him off the beach, and so far they can't drag this guy off the beach. Now he's in the second week of a vacation, like nothing's happening out there. I think he's pissed off. I think he's pissed off personally.
Well, right.
What do you
It's like when you come back to school after the summer and they ask you how was your summer vacation. I don't think he's going to want to talk about it.
Well, I think he's really. I think they kept it secret from him what was going on, and when Schumer came and told him, I think it's time to go. I think
Yeah,
that's when it hit him.
I think
Anyway,
he's declining, very, very fast.
so Israel found information indicating a tunnel beneath uh, Un- Unwar headquarters, where that's the UN headquarters, where Hamas had military intel. Is this a big deal? There's still 108 hostages still in Gaza.
Like it is a big deal, but after 10 months of this, and we've had plenty of big deals
Yeah,
and demonstrating left and right what the United Nations, the UNRWA has been doing, siding with Hamas and having teachers that are part of Hamas. Like, of course, it's a big deal, but no one seems to care except Israel. It's it doesn't phase anybody anymore. The fact that we find weapons and all kinds of stuff. Now, we are still, and we will continue to hunt down hostages. So when we find intel like this, you know,
yeah.
it
We got.
was it,
Go ahead.
it was a good week, as far as hostages are concerned. We got some back, unfortunately not alive, but
Yeah,
the reality is that we'll just do whatever we have to do to get them back. And
yeah. And getting them back dead is something. But come on,
it gives the families
you
closure. Yeah,
jerks killing people and calling them hostages at the same, holding dead bodies hostages. What kind of cruel.
right. It's
You're
not even. It's not even. It's not even the hostages they brought and killed in Gaza. They took dead bodies from Israel on October 7th and brought them back into Gaza.
They
So
did.
it's yeah. We're helping a woman. There's a widow that we're helping. Her husband was killed on October 7th, and
Yeah.
they brought the bodies as hostages. There's quite a few like that.
So Saudi Arabia apparently our so-called friends are backing that Netanyahu should be arrested.
Yeah. Look, one of the goals of this war was to create a wedge between Israel and Saudi Arabia, and sadly, that has happened. We would have had a deal with Saudi Arabia a while
Sure.
ago had this not happened. And these aren't, all these developments aren't. They're not good for ultimately the some kind of reconciliation between Israel and Saudi Arabia.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's not that was not good news this week.
So now Israel tour guides, and you are a tour guide too, right? Although
Yeah.
you're not taking. Are you okay? Are you just sleepy or what? You're not getting any sleep
Yeah.
lately or what?
It's always I teach classes on Thursday nights, so I'm always tired on Friday. It's the end
Oh,
of the week. We're before Shabbat. It's
yeah.
Shabbat is a day of rest.
All
So
right. Because you were like this last week too. You were you
no,
were
2 weeks ago.
tired. You were on last week.
Yeah, but I wasn't tired. Last week I took a nap in the morning.
Oh, okay. Anyways, I get worried about you. I
Nah,
do.
thank you.
So Israel tour guides are going to take tours to Temple Mount. Um, do you are you going to arm tourists or what? This is going to be another
No,
ride.
you can't even go up there armed. But look, I've been so busy with everything I'm doing, helping
Yeah,
soldiers with the widows. And there's no tourists, so it's not like
Right.
there's much you can do in as far as tourism. And I don't see it coming back not before November.
Yeah.
We're going into September and then the Jewish holidays. I think after that, maybe November. But who knows what's going to happen
Well,
between
this is
now
one
and
of
then?
the longest wars, if not the longest, Israel has ever
It's getting
had.
there. The War of Independence. Excuse me. The War of Independence lasted 11. Lasted about a year and 3 4 months. So we're
You're
getting
close.
close to that. We're getting
Yeah.
close.
So
Yeah.
Yahya Sinwar is dressing as a woman, and now the Jerusalem Post is saying that he's pretty well just done.
Yeah, he's trying to negotiate. Part of the ceasefire is that they won't kill him, but he's really he's done. He's going to have to
Yeah.
spend however many days he has left, and I hope it's not many, in hiding.
Yeah.
And and he has no future, and he knows that.
And by the
So
way,
it's just
is he just one of the leaders of Hamas or the leader of Hamas?
well, they appointed him after we assassinated Sinwar, so
So
he took
Sinwar was his
over.
brother, right?
Not Sinwar, sorry. Hania, Ishmael
Hania.
Hania. It was
Okay.
not his brother. It was not his brother, but he, after we assassinated him in Iran, he was the political head of Hamas. So
Yeah.
Sinwar took his place. That's not a coveted job at this point. It's as soon as you take that job, you have a target on your back.
Yeah. Well,
And
I just read the Jerusalem Post this morning looking for last minute things, and I think you killed another leader somewhere.
we
I
did,
can't
yeah,
remember. Yeah.
we did. And we in Jenin, we killed another
Right.
Hamas leader. And there's been a lot of activity here in Judea and Samaria, or what the world calls the West Bank, because we
Yeah.
realize that if we don't, learn the lessons of October 7th and
Yeah.
address the terrorists that are in Judea and Samaria now, we
Yeah.
could have a repeat of October 7th.
It's
So,
about time. This is a total reversal of strategy. And I believe Israel brought this upon themselves because they didn't take it as seriously as they should have. Am I
right,
wrong?
they misjudged Hamas. They had assessments that were just fictional. They weren't real, and we got fooled. And the only thing is that I'm concerned about is that you learn the lessons, but the question is, what happens in another 5 years, 10 years, 20 years? Do those lessons get forgotten? And like the lessons of the Yom Kippur War of 1973, did we forget them and allow something like this, to happen because we're not on guard?
Well,
So
I'm not trying to, put pat myself on the back, but that's what we talked about. October 6th was the Yom Kippur War. Could that
yeah,
happen again?
yeah.
And bingo.
Look, it's a problem everywhere when you have freedom loving countries. In the West, we tend to believe that other people would like that as well. And when 9/11 happened in the US, that was, a wake up call. Things changed a lot in the US. And I
Oh,
just hope,
wow.
like, for example, closing the border is
Yeah.
something that it's insane that Kamala Harris and the Democrats don't understand that if you don't close the border, you're going to eventually allow terrorists to walk right into your country.
Well, you know what's
And
going on in Colorado? In Denver, where I went to
yeah,
college, they've taken over Venezuelan um, immigrants, illegal immigrants, have taken over 3 apartment buildings uh, in the Denver area, the Denver metro area,
yeah,
and it is a state, a sanctuary state. However, the governor and the mayor don't seem to be
well,
that touch. These guys are walking
yeah,
around with R-15s or A-15s, whatever they call them, and they're banging on doors of
yeah.
apartments. And if
We
there's
just
no
don't
answer,
learn the
they
lessons.
cut the lock and they take over the apartment.
Yeah, we
That's
don't
an
learn the
invasion, isn't it?
lessons.
Is that not an invasion?
Yeah, I'm saying, because I think the mentality of the West, freedom-loving countries like Israel, like the United States, we tend to, we let our guards down because we think people are good and we have that, but they know, the enemies know that they have time on their side because we lose patience,
Well,
and that's what happens.
in the sense of what Donald Trump is trying to do, you can, and his way of doing it is tough, being tough, but going for uh, situations that are going to foster peaceful things happening, and that can work, but
Right,
it may or may not last, and you shouldn't be surprised that when hell goes into the handbasket once again.
right. Peace comes from strength, not from capitulation and weakness.
That's right.
Um,
Never have.
and that's right. That's what history's taught us. But
History is
unfortunately,
all
people
about
don't learn the lessons of it.
History is all about one facing the other, and soon one goes attacks the other, and the other one moves back a little bit.
Hmm.
Do it based on what I got with this camera, but you understand, they move back instead of
Right.
moving forward towards them, and eventually they get the idea. The other side wants nothing to do with battling them, and they can just take them over, and it works a lot. That's probably the way the whole world has been for
Yeah.
almost forever.
Look at Chamberlain in World War II. He wanted just to appease and give
Yeah,
in and so on. But it never works. And then you have to pay the piper down the line. And there's a lot more pain down the line if you would
sure.
had you not just confronted it initially.
So on a better note, UCLA drops the appeal of federal court that it failed Jewish students. So they're caving in now to understanding that
Yeah.
that you don't ignore um, anti-Semitism, and you do something about it. Now, what they're going to do, I don't know, but they're not going to appeal anymore. So they've caved in.
Right. That
So that's a
right. That
positive.
is right. What
Yeah.
they're going to do about the anti-Semitism, we don't know. But at least they're not fighting the judgment.
Yeah. And Biden's baffling boat dock in Gaza, that botching boat dock, whatever it was, uh, that is. Why do you think that happened? What's going on? There's about $400 million that went into this, and it sank or something off of the Mediterranean.
Yeah.
What was he trying to do? I don't get it.
Well, I think he was trying to go around Israel. He was trying to directly be able to provide aid and control the situation.
Yeah,
And it was an utter failure. Pieces broke off and flowed away. It was a waste of hundreds of millions of dollars. I mean, it's a disgrace, but it's something I think that went underreported in the news.
yeah. Oh, it did. Hey, let me play one thing for you. Play the
Yeah,
next clip in
sure.
uh, play Rudy Giuliani, the first clip in Giuliani. Okay.
I know the one place we got a fair hearing was the Georgia legislature. No one wants to read the report from Senator Litton after 132 witnesses that Trump won Georgia
You were
by
just
over 10,000 votes.
you were actually disbarred for arguing this in New York and suspended in DC
Yeah.
and probably will be disbarred in DC if not already for arguing this.
Yes, I'm not allowed. I'm not allowed to argue the best view of the case for my client, which is they should be disbarred for that. The rule I have followed as a lawyer, which is 50 years of ethical conduct, never a complaint to the Bar Association about my misconduct. I litigated in the most contentious place in America, where if you don't have a Bar Association complaint, you're probably not doing your job. I don't know what I did. And I prosecuted, I would say, and you can dispute me if you want, I prosecuted the worst criminals of the 20th century.